What uppers? How's it going? Welcome back to another show. Look who's back in the seat, back in the saddle. It's me. This is you, mate, Roscoe, and of course, I would be that guy. I'm Roscoe. That's me. And for those who have been following the page and caught wind of the fact that I said that I was going to step away from this for a little while. I kind of realized and kind of was coerced by some of my guys that I should jump back in the seat and do my thing. And I felt it was only right. I felt it was only right. I look at this page as my baby, and I couldn't leave my baby without nourishment. I had to feed my baby, so I'm back. But today's show, we're going to be taking a look at a video called Why Larry Bird is Underrated. And I have no clue why this is even a thing. I didn't even realize people were underrating Larry Bird, but I guess it's a thing. You know what I mean? There's always debates about who's the best, who's not, whatever. So we'll be checking this out. Before we do that, I do want to ask for anybody who hasn't that they please subscribe to the channel. Also, make sure you hit the notification bell. That way you'll be reminded of future shows. We're going to go ahead and check this thing out, start this thing up. So let's do that right now.
It is widely accepted that Larry Bird is one of the greatest NBA players of all time, and even sneaks his way into the GOAT debate among many basketball circles. The thing is, I personally rank Larry Bird higher than most people do, as he's currently sitting in the 6th spot on my all-time list, and I even have him ranked slightly ahead of Magic Johnson, which is certainly a more uncommon opinion. I think there's some major misconceptions to Bird's game that result in him not getting quite as much credit as I believe he deserves, and by the end of this video, I think that I can convince some of you that Larry Legend is in fact underrated. Before we get into some misconceptions, let's start with what most people already know about Bird, and I'll elaborate upon it. Over his 13-year career, Larry averaged 24.3 points on a stellar 56.4 true shooting percentage. Despite their talent-heavy history, Bird is the Celtics' all-time leading playoff scorer. So whether it was in the regular season or the postseason, he was always an efficient and lethal threat.
See, that's I didn't realize like he was their all-time playoff scorer. Only because those Bill Russell led teams, they made it so many times. I really didn't think about that, but now when I do, I realize that back in those days with Bill Russell, there wasn't as many teams. So now it makes sense in my head a little bit when I do really think about it. But yeah, Bird is the all-time playoff scorer. That's what's up. Let's keep it going.
Was obviously a legendary scorer and an incredibly efficient shooter. Larry is objectively one of the greatest three-point shooters of all time, as he's tied with Craig Hodges for the most three-point contests won in a career with a total of 3. The thing is, Hodges participated in a total of 8 three-point competitions, while Bird only participated in a total of 4. So he
did not realize Hodges was in so many three-point contests. Did not realize it.
He literally did the same amount of damage as the other all-time leader in half the amount of time. On top of all of this, you really could make the argument that Bird is the most all-around efficient scorer of NBA history. If that seems like a stretch, then consider this. During some of his prime years, Larry went on a 5-year stretch where he had 50-40-90 percentages. Only 9 players in NBA history have achieved at least one season of 50-40-90 percentages, yet Larry did it over a 5-year stretch while putting up just about 28, 10, and 7 each night. The only player who has come close to that all-around efficiency over such a long period of time is actually Steve Nash. But the thing is, Nash was never primarily a scorer and averaged roughly half the amount of points that Larry did during his stretch.
That is crazy. That is crazy. Like, again, some of these things you don't even realize or think about, but that little stretch that they talking about, 5 years of shooting 50%, 90% from the free throw line, and 40% from three. That's amazing. That's amazing right there. Let's keep it going.
To efficiently score that many points on that kind of volume of all-around shot attempts is something that no one else has ever done as well as Larry Bird did. Again, maybe some of you didn't know the extent of how lethal Larry was as an all-around efficient scorer, but I do feel like that's probably the most commonly understood aspect of his game. Now for the
That last shot where he tossed it up over his head, that was for the people who said he's not athletic. that was a Magic Jordan looking type shot. Let me push it back a little bit. We don't want to miss none of the words here.
But I do feel like that's probably the most commonly understood aspect of his game. Now for the misconceptions and the details that definitely make Larry an underrated player. There are a lot of people, especially younger basketball fans, who believe that Larry was a subpar defender. This is incredibly inaccurate, as Bird wasn't just a good defensive player, but a great one. As a 6'9" small forward, he definitely had the size and length to frustrate the offensive opponent. Sure, there is the narrative that Larry was
Ooh, Adrian Dantley, boy, you talk about he was one of the greatest scorers probably in the history of the game, but man, he was a black hole. That brother did not want to pass the ball out. And I remember when he was playing this time when he was playing for the Pistons for a little bit, and then right as the Pistons were getting geared up to go into championship mode for like 2 years, they traded away Dantley for Mark Aguirre, one of the better trades, I think. Even though Dantley, like I said, he could score like a mug, and it always seemed like he went to the free throw line like a trillion times. Like this dude could get to the free throw line. People used to talk about how you breathe on Mike and he's going to the line. Like this dude, boy, and he's like roughly around like 6'5" or something like that. But he always played down there with the Giants and didn't have no problem scoring down there with them. But let's keep it going.
Was a slow and unathletic player, and thus it affected his defensive play. This is true to a certain extent, but it's also grossly exaggerated. What Larry did have are the most important traits of a great defensive player, which are hustle, heart, intelligence, effort, and availability. Larry was never lacking in any of these areas. He always put in the work, and he was incredible not only at reading the defenses, but also at anticipating them. Larry made 3 NBA All-Defense teams throughout the course of his career, and even finished as high as 3rd overall in the Defensive Player of the Year running in 1983. He was
that I never realized. Now that's for real. Like I never looked at Bird as like a straight scrub on defense. But first of all, some of those block shots, I never saw him block as many shots. We saw like 3 of them in this video. I don't even remember like seeing Bird blocking shots. So that was kind of crazy to see that. But I didn't realize he was this good at defense. To be like first team 3 times and to be in that running for the defensive player of the year, whatever year that was, they said. That's something I didn't realize. Like seriously, I always kind of looked at him as he was adequate enough. I seen him steal the ball a lot of times, but yeah, no, I didn't know.
Wasn't just a solid on-ball and help defender, but he was also a terrific pickpocket, as Larry averaged a fantastic 1.7 steals per game over the course of his 13-year career. His best evening in this area came on February 18, 1985 against the Utah Jazz, when Larry dropped 30 points, 12 rebounds, 10 assists, and 9 steals in only 3 quarters of play. Due to them absolutely destroying the Jazz, Bird didn't play a second of the 4th quarter. To this day, the NBA record for the most steals in a single game is 11. So not only could he have easily been only the second player to ever achieve the quadruple-double, but if Bird had played the fourth, he might have been the record holder for the most steals in a game. You have
That speaks to integrity right there. You know, and probably a sign of the times for the league at that time, because if there was somebody in today's game who was that close to achieving something like that, they going for that. There's no way that they missing an opportunity to get a quadruple dub. But yeah, no, Larry is like, man, I'm gonna sit my butt down. I don't got time to be. They already beat already, so he could have. But he could have played like 2 minutes of the fourth quarter, just 2 3 minutes, whatever. But yeah, no integrity.
have to be a great defensive player in order to be in a position to seize that record. On top of all of that, Bird led the entire NBA in defensive win shares a total of 4 times. That's the 4th most in NBA history. The only players ahead of him on that list are Tim Duncan, George Mikan, and Bill Russell. That is a remarkably short list of great defensive players. I'm not trying to say that Bird was on the level of someone like Dennis Rodman or Scottie Pippen, but to call Larry anything other than a great defensive player is either completely ignorant or is just plain disrespect towards his game. The other key area where people underappreciate Bird was his rebounding ability, as Larry was simply one of the greatest rebounding small forwards that the game has ever seen. He was aggressive and tenacious as he got as high as 11 rebounds per game in 1983. Qualities that I mentioned earlier, like his size, hustle, and intelligence, are also things that helped him as he battled on the boards.
I did realize that he was a great rebounder. I knew that already. Like he averages like 10 for his career, a little more than that or whatever. But Bird was always a great rebounder. I remember that starkly. But that defensive prowess, that's still like blowing my mind. Like this video actually like taught me something. Like seriously, like I did not realize he was that good defensively. It's crazy.
Over the course of his career, Larry averaged a whopping 10 rebounds per game, and when he was starting specifically at the small forward position, he averaged 9.5 rebounds per game. That's the 3rd highest average among primary small forwards in NBA history. The only players ahead of him are Billy Cunningham and Elgin Baylor, who both played in the 1960s, which was easily the most inflated rebounding era of basketball history. So not only is Bird an underrated rebounder, not only is he objectively one of the all-time great rebounders, but he's also arguably the greatest rebounder ever at his position. Along with all the other skills I talked about, Larry was also a remarkably gifted facilitator. But I won't delve into that much, because like his shooting, I also think that's an area that a decent amount of people have a strong appreciation for. Ultimately, I think it's his solid defense and his elite rebounding that people underestimate, which is why I think he's underrated, regardless of the fact that people still refer to him as Larry Legend. Do you agree? Where does Larry Bird rank on your list of the greatest players of all time? Let me know in the comments section below. Thanks for watching as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more basketball content, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
That's a hell of a question. I'll stop it right there because that's about the end of it. But that's a question. Where does Larry Bird rank on my all-time list? I don't think about that a lot because like after Michael Jordan, I really don't think about who's number 2, 3, 4, and all that stuff. Um, and I know that for a lot of people, they can come up with different people as like the greatest player. Whether it be a lot of people will say Bird is, but there's people who say that Wilt Chamberlain or Kareem or Bill Russell. Well, you don't hear Bill Russell a lot as the GOAT, but if you was to factor in like winning, then that would change. That would probably change some people. But yeah, no, Bird on my all time list. If I had to think about it, he's got to be like he's definitely in the top five. He's definitely in the top five. I don't know where to rank him. You know what I mean? Once you get into that five, because I'm not even thinking about who the other three people are because Bird, I mean not Bird, but Michael Jordan is already there automatic. Like he's never not going to be number one to me, But yeah, no, it's just one of those things. It's subject to whoever people have their own opinions about this stuff. So, my opinion is going to be one thing, and people are going to see it however they want to see it. So, it's just one of those conversations that's always going to be a thing forever, I guess, as long as basketball is being played. But I'm gonna get going. This was fun to watch. Like I said, usually I don't watch these things and pick up things, especially during a time that I was able to watch. And I didn't see, maybe the first couple of years of Bird's career, firsthand, but the rest of it I did, So I usually don't get surprised or shocked or learn too much about this stuff when I've seen, or was around for that era, But I was shocked to know, that he was such a good defender. But then they said they was saying like one of those years was like 83 or something like that. And I was not watching basketball in 1983. I definitely wasn't. I was barely in my double digits probably at that point, or not even because now when I think about it, I have to be like 9 years old or something like that around the time. But yeah, this was good stuff. This was good stuff. So, like I said, I'm gonna get going before I do. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, hit the share button, hit the playlist option. You'll pick the one name. Well, I'll actually put this in two different playlists. So it'll be in sports reactions or basketball highlights. I'll end up putting it in both. So you can check in both of those playlists for this particular video. I do have playlists for a lot of other stuff. A lot of that is going to be music related, but as you can see, I do some things that aren't. So whatever you get a chance, just check through all of that stuff. Make sure you watch them to the end because that's going to help push this stuff through the algorithms. Cash App, $ you made Roscoe, PayPal at you made Roscoe. For those who like to show their support or appreciation for the work being done on the page, there's those two things. Any donations, anything like that, either one of those. So that's it. That's all. I'm gone. I will see you guys again very soon. So until next time, be safe and be good.